Welcome to Runjob Software's presentation of Runjob Overview. Let's go out to the software here. We'll sign in here. This is your Runjob Dashboard, and as you can see, this is your first time into the software on this screen at least. As you see on the left hand side over here, you have the Runjob Dashboard. In the middle here, you have the two modules that you belong to, depending on how many you own. And over here on the right hand side, you have the news feed. This right hand side is good for just going out to our regular weekly newsletter, the Runjob Review, or just seeing the latest events or articles that Runjob has written about or found for you and hope that you have interest in. Anyway, when you're in Runjob for the very first time, you'll want to follow through this dashboard just to put in the necessary contacts and get started with the software. Let's go through these two modules here. The bidding module is the first module. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. This is the bidding welcome screen, and as you can see here, there are 6 orange boxes here. These are not clickable, but all the boxes to the right here are. And between the two modules, the bidding and the communications module, you have this contacts submodule, if you will. You can create a new contact, or you can manage your contacts. Contacts are the companies and their personnel that you'll use throughout the software to send letters to, or RFIs to, or solicit bids from. But here's a list of your contacts that you have. You can click on any of these, it will open up. You can edit the companies. You can go over in this column, you can edit the personnel, add personnel. You can delete them over here on the right hand side. This button here is the import button. Once you click this button, it generates an Excel spreadsheet for you. You then input all your data there from Outlook or other sources. Input it into the Excel spreadsheet, get the data the way you like it, and import it, and then they come here. Let's go back to the bidding screen. I'm going to click on the B here for bidding up here in the header. So again, that was your contacts, and these contacts are global in that regardless of how many modules you own, you will always have a contact submodule. It's kind of the heart of the program because you're pulling from it so often. So it's really important to keep up to date as possible with your contacts. Put in the names, put in the company names, put in phone numbers, emails. The more information you have in there, the better you'll be able to efficiently move around Runjob. This is the opportunities row right here. Opportunities are bids, things that you're chasing. If you're doing a bathroom rehab or you're paving a street or whatever it may be, you can put your opportunities in here. Looks like we have one opportunity here in the log. If I click on all ops or future ops, it will show either all the opportunities we have in there. Looks like there was one hiding in there. We had one last week, right there on the 17th. Today's the 20th of February. This one's coming up. So you can show all opportunities or future opportunities by clicking on those buttons. And from here you can click on these links and it will take you in to edit the opportunity. I'm going to go back to the bidding screen. Bid bonds here. You can create a bid bond, and again you have all requests and future requests. We don't have any set up in here yet, but if you wanted to add in a bid bond request, you click on the add button here and add that information and send off the form to your agent, and he or she can get you the bid bond coming. Solicitations. This is primarily to be used as an email function. Within managed solicitations, you can enter in all the information regarding your opportunity and send that out to all your subs. You dictate during the opportunity setup who you're going to send solicitations to, the subs and subcontractors. And this submodule allows that. The proposals submodule does the same thing, except it sends your proposal out the door. So here in solicitations, you're going out to get bids from your subcontractors and suppliers. Once you get your price together, you can then send out a proposal. And then finally, bid history. Once you bid the job and you have the bid results, record the bid history here. And from this submodule, you can actually do some bid calculations on what place you were historically. How do you perform in a certain region? How do you perform in a certain discipline of work? All those things are here. Up here on the header, you can see we have these buttons. This is B for bidding, and you have these other buttons. As I move my hand to the right here, you'll see we've labeled these buttons. Also on the header at all times, beyond these buttons that I'm hovering over now, you're always going to see this button here, the contacts button, and then you're always going to see this home button here. That's the dashboard. Also always up on the header is this drop down, which allows you to get to different things within the software. Over here in the Run Job and Frequent portion of the drop down, you have File Manager, Credentials, and Mobile Apps. We'll go to those here in about a minute or so. Anyway, let's go back out to Home, or to the dashboard. We were just in the bidding module. Let's go over to communications. The bidding is the time when you're trying to win the job, and once you have won the job, you'll then build the project in communications. So let's go ahead and click on that. This shows all the projects in your company. We only have two, job number 900 here and job number 898. This is the section where you have your most recent jobs. So if you have 100 jobs down here in your actual library of projects, these will only be the most recent jobs up here. Allows you to get to your projects quicker. Here on this button is the job setup. This is where you'll click to edit the job setup you've already done. Job setup is the owner, the construction manager, what are the liquidated damages, things like that. Once you populate the job setup, this row will populate here on the job list. And again, up here in the header, you have these quick buttons. We're going to look at submittals and RFIs and letters and PCOs, potential change orders, and then finally transmittals. So let's go into one of these jobs. Let's choose Six Flags Pirate Ship Project. You come in here and you'll notice this screen looks a lot like the last one. We try to mimic all these screens so you get used to the different layouts. Communications welcome screen. Again, here are contacts. I told you before that contacts were kind of the backbone, if you will, of the software. And this is the case. Here it is. You can go in here and create new or manage your existing contacts. The submittals log here. We don't have any in here yet, but the submittal log allows you to log in submittals, and then it tracks the progress of your submittals from receiving it from your sub or supplier all the way through the process of submitting it, getting it returned, and then sending it back out to your sub or supplier. The RFI log here, the RFI submodule, you can create a new RFI. You can manage the ones you currently have, or you can print a log. Letters. You can create letters from yourself to different parties, and as you label all of your parties, i.e. your rebar supplier or your painter, as you give yourself and all of these contacts designations with an acronym. Say you're working with a company called Johnson Rebar. You can name them JR for Johnson Rebar and then generate a letter from yourself to Johnson Rebar. It will create a number, which is not only one number which is sequential, and another number which goes with the designation of your acronym for your company / their acronym for their company, and then the sequential number. So if my company is Cross Construction and it is designated by CC, and I'm writing a letter to Johnson Rebar, the letter number created would be CC/JR-001, because it's the first letter that I will have written from my company to their company. It will also be serial letter number 1. We talk more about that in the letters log. PCOs, those are potential change orders, and here you can write down in Runjob each of your potential change orders and track them as far as how much money or time you asked the client for, how much they've awarded you or not, and the iterations of that back and forth as you negotiate these on your project. And then finally, transmittals. You can create a transmittal to record the fact that you delivered certain papers or samples or things to your client. Down here at the bottom you have a job list. This is just another quick button to get to your job list, or this is another quick button to get to job setup. You can create a new job by clicking on this button. These are just redundant buttons. You find them elsewhere in the software. Back to the home screen. These are the two modules which handle assisting you in winning the job and then running the job. Over here in the upper right, where we have this drop down here, a couple other things to show you in the overview. We have a file manager system here. The file manager system allows you to import via this upload button. You can import any files that you like into the Runjob servers. And after you input, or I should say import, these files, you can then give them certain codes, categories. You can link them to companies. After you fill in all this information, you can then run sorts and filters to quickly narrow down a document that you want to see. Credentials. This is a place where you can put in different websites that you need to go to say pull down plans. Maybe you work with several general contractors, or you have, in this case, this is Bid Service Daily. This is a plan center online. You can here list the username and passwords for quick reference so that you can find them instead of keeping them all over different walls in your office, different post-its across your monitor. You can keep them all here for easy use. Other things down here is the cool stuff section, just Runjob news and Runjob events. You can click on here and look at these different things. Up here in the upper right hand side, upper right hand corner, obviously the log out button, but then we have the date and different time zones you can choose from depending on where you're at. This company profile button here. Some of this stuff comes in when you sign up for the software. The expiration, your name, your username. The things of most use for you here is customization of the coloring. You can end up choosing a different color here. I choose blue. I hit OK. I can change my logo here or import my logo, and it self-sizes. And then finally you can default the time zone, the drop down count as far as how many items you want to look at on a page. One thing I didn't mention as we went through were these little help tips. You see the question marks here. Anytime you click on one of these question marks, it will give you a quick description of the field you're looking at and how that's going to help you in the program. Every time you print a report, we flash up a window to advise you as to how to print that report. And then lastly, the getting started portion of the program, which we started at, you can turn that on and off here. You can always turn it back on if you turn it back off. Going to hit the save button, should change everything to this blue. Going to head back out to the dashboard. And here you are. Thanks for attending the overview.